Bring that.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
McCaffrey's gonna score.
He gets picked off by Hufanga. Fred Warner with the INT. George Kittle.
That's a sackaroonie, baby.
Ball is out. It is picked up. Run back the other way.
Welcome back, 49er Faithful, to another episode of the Gold Rush Podcast. I'm your host, Javen Scar. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Today, we're going to be discussing a little bit of a fender bender that happened in the past game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, the 49ers came out on top with the game-winning field goal from Jake Moody, but it didn't come clean. It did not come clean whatsoever. As we know, Jake Moody really struggled mightily this game. He went only 3 for 6 on field goals. He missed some very, very crucial field goals. I mean, if he hit those kicks, if he hits those 3 kicks he missed, this is a lot different of a ball game. A lot different of a ball game, and the 49ers don't need to worry about it coming down to the wire. But that being said, after he missed his third field goal, which was, I want to say, a 50-yarder, or it was close to that. I know all of them were pretty close. 250 yards. They were in that range, that 44, 45 range, and I do believe he missed a 50-yarder point blank period. After he missed that third kick, though, Deebo Samuel, the star receiver, he had some words for Jake Moody, it seemed like, and our long snapper, Taybor Pepper, didn't like what Deebo Samuel had to say. Cue the video. Obviously, there's no sound. We don't really hear what's going on. We don't know what's going on in the altercation, but it looks really bad. It's a poor sighting for this team that has had its ups and downs, this team that's sitting here at 5-4, and they're still trying to find themselves, it feels like. And a lot of people think, hey, maybe the locker room is divided. Maybe it's a split locker room. What's going on? And this does not help that case whatsoever. But I will say, I think that this is a very promising sign, actually. Yes, I know it's a bad look, but we know that these guys are fired up. And Deebo Samuel's been on this team since, 2019? So he knows. He's seen those highs and those lows. He's been to the Super Bowl twice now. He wants to win. He has that competitive edge. And maybe he did it in the wrong way, okay? Maybe talking down to your teammate isn't the best way to go about things. But in the heat of the moment, when your kickers miss 3 kicks, and you can go up to him and you tell him something, I think that there is some reaction where the kicker, Jake Moody in this case, has to look at himself and say, yeah, man, that's on me. That's on me. And Taybor Pepper has to understand that as well. Listen, my guy's missing kicks. I know, listen, it's the long snapper's job. He stands up for his kicker. They're buddies. But you also got to understand, hey, if that's the case, if I'm Taybor Pepper, I maybe pull Moody to the side. Hey, man, maybe he got a point. Let's log in. Hey, we got this. Hit the next one. It was said with Deebo Samuel after the game, post-game. Of course, everybody's asking about it. And apparently it sounded like Deebo Samuel pretty much just told Jake Moody to lock in. Okay. Which, if that's the case, if he just told Jake Moody, let's lock in, and Taybor Pepper acted like that, I would be a little annoyed if I was Deebo too, and I would push him. And it looks like Deebo, kind of gets some of Moody here. I don't think that was intentional. People, saying Deebo swiped at Moody. I don't think it was intentional. Very clearly, Taybor Pepper kind of just swiped Deebo's arm away, and his arm happened to hit Moody. Very unfortunate, but it sucks. Deebo also going for Taybor Pepper's neck. Not the greatest look in the world. A little shove, okay, but going right for the neck. Let's just aim a little lower, please. And Johnny Dell's on Twitter actually agrees pretty much with what I'm saying about we like what we see. Maybe not the greatest interpretation, but he brings up Mr. Jerry Rice, my GOAT right here, saying, we'd have been fighting each other on the sidelines if we played like that. So Jerry Rice, he brings up back in the day, if they're playing like garbage, them boys, they kind of got into it on the sideline. So I think, again, it's a bad look, but I also think people are making it a little bit too much out of it. I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world, rather than just competitive teammates wanting to win, frustrated with the outcome, with things not going their way. And I do get the opposition that Deebo Samuel was in the wrong. He got to control his emotions. He ain't perfect. He has his drops, and that is true. But this just simply opens the door. When Deebo Samuel gets his drops, he has to be mature enough to take the criticism. He has to be mature enough to, if Taybor Pepper even though, yeah, sure, he's just a long snapper, but if Pepper steps up and tells Deebo, hey, let's lock in, let's make those catches, Deebo has to be mature enough to not get hot-headed and not take that anger out on Pepper or Moody. So yes, Pepper, I think maybe he didn't hear Deebo. Maybe he thought Deebo was talking trash and was talking down on Jake Moody. And so he wanted to step in, protecting his kicker. Okay. I also want to bring up Jesse Zappalu, former Super Bowl champion for the 49ers as well. He tweeted out the Taybor Pepper and Deebo Samuel. He just tweeted out a picture, said it happened during our 49er era, LOL. Not a big deal when you hold yourself to high standards. As Seahawks is up, go Niners. So again, bringing up the Jerry Rice days back in the day, teammates are going to bicker with each other. They want to win. It is a competitive sport. When the season is kind of going down, when you have so many losses and things aren't going just right, tensions are going to flare. And unfortunately, it looks like Jake Moody just caught Deebo at a bad time. But hey, at the end of the day, looks like the bullying worked. Moody went out there and he kicked out that 44-yard field goal for the game. And I'm sure that Deebo and Jake Moody have talked since and they've made up. And I'm sure everybody is all good and all right. But yeah, Moody, he missed 3 kicks. He deserves to get held accountable. Yes, he's coming back from injury. Maybe he's a little bit rusty. Missing 1, Missing 2, that is already unacceptable. Missing 3, you probably deserve to get called out. Point blank, period. And the same goes with Deebo Samuel. We know he has injury history. If he came back from injury and he was criticized because he was a little rusty, he should probably be mature enough and handle that criticism. But let's take it easy by saying, Deebo Samuel, we need to get him out of here because he came for Taybor Pepper's throat. I think that there's a lot of fans out there that agree that Jake Moody deserved to be called out a little bit. He deserved to be checked, especially by one of the leaders of the locker room. It seems like potentially Deebo could be leading the locker room with how vocal he is. I personally like to see it. Again, not the greatest thing to see on media. On TV, it's very easy to spin this narrative as there's tensions in the Niners locker room. They are a divided locker room. It's very easy to spin that narrative. But hopefully, I believe that they are both going to be mature enough to move past this. And hey, let's go on a win streak after this bye week. Let's go on ahead and let's take down the Seattle Seahawks. Let's take care of them at home. And let's go Niners, baby. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments below. I always love chatting with y'all. Leave me a like. Go on ahead and subscribe so you don't miss my next video, my next rant on whatever the heck I want to talk about, which will probably be about the Seattle Seahawks. While you're down there, take a look in the description as well, where I have my other social medias, my Instagram, my TikToks, my Twitter, so you can keep with me there as well, where I post a lot more often, I feel like, on the TikTok especially. Folks, I will see y'all in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Gold Rush Podcast. I'm your host, Javen Takar. Peace out, faithful.